Hi everyone, Chef Ron here, and we are just about ready to start this week's episode of the Chef Ron Lock Show. But before we do that, I wanted to let you know who is going to be on this week. We have event planner Christopher Cubb with 2 B's. He's going to be showing you a fantastic recipe, letting you know what we're going to be making, and showing you the ingredients that'll be going into that. And then after that, I'll be coming in and showing you how to put it all together and creating a great presentation that I'm sure you're going to love. And I'm sure we'll probably take a little taste of that as well, no doubt. I also want to leave you, as I always try to do each week, with the 3 E's. That's a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of education, and a little bit of enlightenment. So, it's time to start heating up the kitchen with the Chef Ron Lock Show. Let's go!
Please welcome Christopher Cubb.
Hello everyone, Christopher Cubb here, and thank you, thank you. Ingredients and the recipe. So we are going to be making for you today a fantastic, easy sweet roll casserole. That's right, another breakfast treat. Chef Ron, why are you giving me all the breakfasts here? You know, I looked at the shows, you know, I was just watching and seeing who was all on, and I was watching the recipes you had, and you know what? You're giving me balls, and you're giving me breakfast. So you want breakfast and balls. What is there some sort of theme going on here or something? Oh my God. I mean, give me something meaty or something like that. I mean, I'll even take fish for God's sake. I mean, good Lord. You know, I'm just, you know, anyway, so all right, I shouldn't complain because he probably will just not even let me on here anymore. So anyway, all right, just making a commentary about the breakfast things that I'm always doing here. So we're doing this great, easy, sweet roll casserole. That's just fantastic. Cinnamon roll casserole. And so let's go ahead and get on with the ingredients. I'll show you what's going on here. Not too many, real simple here, all right? So anyway, so first off we've got here, this ends up being 2 cans. I think they're 12.4 ounces, I believe. 2 cans of cinnamon rolls with the frosting that we have here. There's 2 tubes of frosting that come with them. So you can see here we've got 4, that's 1 roll, 4, that's another roll, and 2 of the frostings. That's, of course, from the 2 rolls as well. All right, we've got all that. We've got here a 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. We've got 4 eggs that have been beaten. We've got here a 1/2 cup, I'm sorry, that's a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. All right, we've got here 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 1 cup of chopped pecans. And that's it. That's all you have. It's going to be a very simple recipe, and Chef Ron's going to be coming here in just a moment to put it all together for you and show you a stellar fab presentation that I'm sure you all are just going to just die over, I'm sure. I know I will. So anyway, for now, I am going to go. I'm getting out of these clothes, and I am just over this whole polyester shindig go down thing. Anyway, so from the event planning capital of me, this is Christopher Cubb saying to everyone, you have a stellar fab day. Ta-ta! All right, good up. Well, hi everyone, Chef Ron here. How's everyone doing out there today? All right. Sounds like we have a great crowd out there. Oh, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Chef Ron Lock Show. Christopher Cubb with 2 B's. He did a fine job today. Thank you so much, Christopher, for showing us the ingredients and for telling everybody about what we're going to be making for y'all today. And we have a fantastic recipe. It is going to be our easy sweet roll casserole, a great short and simple breakfast idea that you have just got to try. We're going to show you through the show here all the steps and how to make this fantastic breakfast casserole for your family, friends, and loved ones. And it's just very simple to do. It's very economical as well. And you can do variations on this too. You watch this through, and I'm sure when you see the end of this recipe, you'll be thinking of lots of different ways you can do this. But I ask everybody, I always try to ask everybody, please try to at least give the original recipe a try first before you start doctoring it up. I know everybody, I'm notorious for that too. I see something and I'm like, oh, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. You know what I'm talking about out there, right? Exactly. This gentleman out here, he's like, yeah! How many cups of coffee have you had today? I don't want to know. Anyway, so you never know what you're going to get when the audience comes to watch one of these shows. Anyway, so you know, it's something, you know, we all see a recipe that we like and we all want to incorporate things into it. But I really love to be able to just sit and try it originally, the original way it was written first by whoever it was or whatever, because I want to get a good sense of what was going in their taste buds when they were creating this. And then from there, at least I can start with a base or an idea how to incorporate other ingredients and flavors and such to enhance it to what I want to see it be. So, you know, I just try to tell people, you know, I know it's great to just go and incorporate different things when you see this really great base recipe, but give that base recipe a try first. And I guarantee you will come up with even better ideas once you've tasted the flavors and how it incorporates with you. Just a little tip from Chef Ron Lock to y'all out there. All right, I'm done talking. I know you guys want to get started with this recipe, so let's get started. All right, first thing we always want to do before we get involved with the recipe is what? What do we want to do? Wash your hands. Make sure you have a clean environment, clean hands, all right? All right, we're going to roll our sleeves up here and get heating up in this kitchen here. And it's just a great day. You know when you have a good day, you know when you feel good. You know, today's one of those days. I don't know about y'all out there, but today's one of those days for me. I'm just feeling really good. So I hope you can see that. I think, and I just love this recipe too. It just, you know, when you're working with a really fun recipe, you know, it just makes it so much easier too. So, all right, sleeves are rolled up. Let's get to work. First off here, we have a 9x13 baking dish that has been liberally greased. Now, I normally won't say liberally greased too often in any of my recipes because generally lightly greased is where you want to go. This recipe, what the original recipe asked to have you put in butter, layer butter on the bottom. I didn't want it to be that greasy, quite frankly, and you really don't need to have this little river of butter sitting on the bottom. So basically what you can do is you can just I would just say, make your pan just enough, glistening enough to have a good coating of butter. If you want to use sprays, you can do that too. My mom got me started on this, and I think I've talked about this in one of my episodes already. If I haven't, here's a good tip for y'all. Butter wrappers. When you're done using a stick of butter, what do you do with that butter wrapper? You probably throw it away, right? Nah, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. Get yourself a baggie. Get yourself a Ziploc bag. Go ahead and throw that butter wrapper in there and throw it in the freezer. Start collecting those butter wrappers because you know what you can do? You can recycle those butter wrappers in any of your cooking vessels that you use like this here. You just take one or however many you need because there's always butter stuck on the coating of those wrappers, and you just go ahead and you just layer it on. You layer it on your vessel on the bottom and the sides. And it's really nice too because you can really get in the sides as well. You know, sometimes just using butter and a pastry brush to go ahead and brush it on, sometimes the butter just tends to want to just fall to the bottom, and then you get that greasy river that lays on there, and then you got to try to pat it up. The butter wrappers work really well. You leave them out for about maybe 20-30 minutes before you use them, they get thawed down enough, it works fantastic. So that's what I always do when I'm coating my particular cooking vessels, is these used butter wrappers. So little tip from Chef Ron Locke to y'all out there. All right, I promise, I know. I'm gonna shut up, let's get cooking, right? All right, so we've got our 9x13 baking dish here. We have here our cinnamon rolls, our 2 packages or 2 tubes of 13-ounce cinnamon rolls that Christopher Cub showed you earlier on. And we're going to go ahead now and show you how to incorporate this and start your fantastic, easy sweet roll casserole. Now, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and take one of your rounds, one of these cinnamon roll rounds, just like that. You see that? Okay. What you want to do with one of those is set it down, and then you want to just get a knife, okay? And what I like to do is I will go ahead and just lightly grease the knife to make it a little easier to slide through these cinnamon rolls. And you want to cut them up into 8 little pieces, like a pizza. You can also use a pizza cutter for it as well, whatever is easiest for you. And cut them into these small little 8 wedges. And so what you end up with are some of these little wedges here, like I guess I can try to show you, just like that. You see that? Just like that. And that's what you end up with. And so you want to do that with each of your 16 rounds that you have, your cinnamon roll rounds. And all we're going to do, I'm going to show you right now, is you just place these little wedges in the bottom like this, okay? And you just line them up. Just line them up in a line, like so. Okay, you see how I'm doing that? Okay. And you'll usually get 8 across. Now you'll just do it all the way across till you get to the end of your 9x13 baking dish here. And through the power of television, let's go ahead and do that right now. Now we're going to go ahead and make our egg mixture that's going to be going on top of our little cinnamon nuggets that we have in our 9x13 baking dish. Let's go ahead and start that right now, okay? So first off, we've got our medium-sized bowl, and we're going to go ahead first off and add in our 4 beaten eggs. Okay, like that. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in our cream, our heavy cream. Okay. Then we're going to add in next our cinnamon, our ground cinnamon. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and add in our vanilla, just like that. You can use an electric mixer if you want with this. But because these are just liquid ingredients and it's a small portion, it's just probably quicker and easier to clean up if you just go ahead and use a spatula, a wooden spoon in your bowl and just mix this up. Okay, we just want to get it mixed up really easy here. This will take a couple minutes to do here. You just want to incorporate that cinnamon into your liquid here. I think I said it was all liquid. Okay, so I fibbed a little bit. The cinnamon. So we just got to incorporate the cinnamon. So let's go ahead and we're doing that right now. There we go. Alright, you see how that works. It don't have to be perfect. You just want to get a nice representation of that cinnamon in with the other ingredients and just get it really well mixed up. If you've got bigger pieces of cinnamon that are mixed in with all this, again, don't worry, it's all going to go ahead and cook down in the baking process, alright? So you don't have to worry about all this cinnamon being completely integrated with the ingredients. You just want to get a nice mixture going here to pour over everything. So if you're one of those people that have to have it perfectly granulated, that's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just telling you, from my experience, you don't need to do that, and everything tastes wonderful. Alright, that's going to be good enough right there. Just like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and pour our egg mixture onto our cinnamon nuggets here, just like that. Just make sure you get a good representation over everything. Like that. It'll all congeal with each other, especially as it's cooking. Now it's time to go ahead and layer our pecans and maple syrup on top of our casserole before we put that in the oven. Now at this point, you should have gone ahead and preheated your oven to 375 degrees. All right, so let's go ahead now, and we're just going to go and sprinkle in our pecans here, just like this. Kind of like to make sure we have enough, and you should have enough. There we go, just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it'll again spread out and even out as this cooks as well. All right. Lastly, let's go ahead and pour our maple syrup. This is just amazing, and just drizzle this on like this. Oh yeah, just drizzle this on. Okay, I missed a spot over here. There we go, just like that. You see how, oh, I'm telling you, can you smell that out there? Can you guys smell this at all? Probably not. With the lights and everything up here and being right in front of it, this smells fantastic. Oh my goodness. All right, now we're going to go ahead and put this into our preheated 375 degree oven until we get it to a nice golden brown, which will be somewhere between 20 to 25 minutes. Now if your oven's a little hot, it'll be near the 20-minute point. If your oven runs a little cool, it'll be obviously near the 25-minute point, or it could even probably go into the 30-minute point. So just keep an eye on it as you start getting around the 20-minute marker, and just make sure that it's a nice golden brown, it's nice and puffy, and you'll be good to go. All right, so let's go ahead and do that now. We have a fantastic mailbag segment for you next here, and this is the segment that we go out to you, our viewers, with your questions. You send us a question, you ask me or one of our cast members a question, and we respond back in kind, and we hold no bars as to how we respond to you, depending on those questions. And some of those questions can get a little crazy sometimes. So let's see who this week's viewer and recipient of the mailbag question is right now.
Mailbag.
Welcome to another edition of Mailbag. This week's question comes to yours truly, Chef Ron Locke. And it comes from Melissa Q, who lives in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now Melissa asks, she says, Chef Ron, what city and state were you born in? Where did you come from? Well, that's a good question. Actually, not too far from where you're at, actually, just across the Lake Michigan, in a town called Racine, Wisconsin, which is right on the southeastern corner of Wisconsin, right on Lake Michigan, actually. And I lived there for almost 30 years before moving here to South Florida, and I still have family that lives there. Great little town. It's about a town of probably 85,000, I believe it is now, but just a wonderful, wonderful little city, and just the friendliest people. And it's just the very Midwestern, very, I would say, just a real homespun type of a city. I love it. I love going back every year. I usually go back every July and visit my family, and I just love the dichotomy between the climate there and the climate down here in South Florida. And it's just fantastic. So that's where I'm from, Racine, Wisconsin. That's a great question. Thank you for asking. Now, if one of you out there have a question for either myself or one of the cast members, you can feel free to write into us at crl@chefronlocke.com. That's crl@chefronlocke.com, and go ahead and ask your question. And if you're one of the lucky ones that we pick, we will read your question on a future episode here on Mailbag. All right. Simple as that. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to the Chef Ron Locke Show. Did you just see how wonderful our easy sweet roll casserole turned out? That just is fantastic. This house smells just fantastic. And we've got one additional little topping we're going to be adding to this to really just bump it up to 11. I'm telling you. All right, let's go ahead and do that right now. Now, we told you that we had put aside the frosting that comes with the 2 tubes of the cinnamon rolls, right? All right, well, all you need to do is just go ahead and microwave these for about 10 or 15 seconds and then just stir them up. And then all we're going to do is just drizzle this goodness on top, oh yeah, of this casserole. Look at that. Oh my. Now you want to try to get it to about halfway because we've got 2 of the cups here. Okay, so there's that. Okay, there's our first half there. Some lucky boy or girl would actually probably love to get a hold of these cups. This frosting is fantastic. Let's go ahead and pick up where we left off here. You can drizzle this any way you like. You can go sideways, upside down, however you like. There you go. Just like that. I'm telling you, it is absolutely wonderful. Look at that. Look at that. That is our final part of our easy sweet roll casserole that we need to do. Now, what you want to do is just let this sit for about 5 minutes or so before you go ahead and cut this up, just to let everything kind of congeal a little bit. A couple things I do want to tell you real quick before we cut to a break here. Check your oven again. I put the temperature setting here at 375 for about 20 to 25 minutes, sometimes up to 30 minutes. You want to definitely check it. This time it took about 25 minutes to bake this casserole. Sometimes it takes 20. I really don't know what happens with the whole baking process sometimes with my oven personally. It seems to have a mind of its own. Sometimes it heats a little faster than others, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. It's all preheated the same, but anyway, so you want to start checking again, like I said, around the 20-minute point. Most of you will probably be somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes, closer to the 25-minute point. A few of you will probably have to go to the 28 to 30-minute point. Again, you want it to get to look like that, some nice golden brown like that, and that's it. Let it sit for about 15 minutes as well before you put this icing on, just to let it set a little bit, all right? Now, we're going to come back, we're going to go ahead and slice up a piece of this and get our presentation plate ready for our final segment here on the Chef Ron Lock Show. Before we do that, we're going to cut real quick to an important message. So you don't go anywhere, you stick right there, and we will be right back. You know, my biker buddies laugh about it because they just, you know, you cooking? You know, and, but I'm learning stuff, you know. I actually am planning on making the crock pot beer chicken, that first episode that I was helping Chef Ron on, because it's got beer in it. And so I'm going to make that, and then I'm going to have the rest of the beer, because why would you want to throw it away, because you're not using it. Careful, it's hot. Very hot. I almost burned my hand grabbing for it and talking at the same time. When you're doing a cooking show like I'm doing, it's not like you're just in the kitchen and you're just concentrating on what you're doing. I'm trying to talk to y'all and also, you know, create something here too. So sometimes you gotta really be careful. And I went to start grabbing for that bowl, and I could feel the heat right away. And luckily, I, you know, pulled back and grabbed it on the top. But just be careful. That liquid obviously is very hot. You want to handle that carefully. All right. So now we're just. Well, here we are. This is the final presentation of our easy sweet roll casserole, and there ain't nothing more easier than making this fabulous, fabulous breakfast that we have here today. So let's go ahead and show you right here a piece of our easy sweet roll casserole. You can see how wonderful this is. Right off the bat, you see we got our drizzled frosting that's on top. Now you can see it's cooled off a little bit, and it's incorporated now within the casserole itself. It's soaking in, and that's what you really want to get, all that sweetness. You really just want to have a good experience. You don't want anything overpowering. You want everything to blend together. That's how food should be. That's how a dish or a recipe should be. There shouldn't be anything that really overpowers anything. A really good recipe will marry a lot of flavors and have them meld real well. And that's what this is. You've got your toasted pecans. or pecans. You also have your flaky cinnamon biscuits, and you've got the maple syrup that we put on in the middle of this to really just cement and make this fantastic. There's a lot of sweet and doughy combinations going on here, and it really is great. It's not too sweet. You would think something like this would just be overpoweringly sweet. Let me tell you right now, and I'll tell you as I bite into this and I'll give you the flavors, this really is not sweet at all. It is sweet. Let me rephrase that. It is sweet, but it's not overpowering in any way. It's got just a really great sweet roll, cinnamon sweet roll taste to it. All right. Well, I don't know if I can say any more about it than that. I think I've sold you enough, or I've tried to anyway. Let me go ahead and take a taste of this. This house is just smelling fantastic, and I am hungry, and I am looking very forward to giving this a taste. I haven't made this recipe actually in quite a while. You know, I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of recipes, probably thousands of recipes. So I don't obviously make everything all the time, but this is something that is kind of a special treat for me. So I'm really looking forward to this. I have my fork. Let's go ahead and take a bite of this here. Dig into that. Look at that. Oh, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and see how it pairs up today. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Mmm. Thumbs up. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, yes. That is so good. You immediately, I'm going to tell you what you get to taste now. You immediately get the taste of the pecans. They are just so good, especially that they've been toasted in the oven for a half an hour. You taste that topping, that drizzled sweetness that we put on top of this casserole. Then you get into that cinnamon. I don't know if you noticed a little bit earlier when we showed you the first stage of this coming out of the oven, there were little like black rivers, little veins within the casserole themselves. If you go and play this episode back, go back about 10 minutes, you might see that. That's the cinnamon that's risen up, that we've added in with the egg mixture and also with the other ingredients that are put into the biscuits already. It's just phenomenal. It's not super sweet at all. You get that initial sweet blast, and then you get down to the lower layers of this fantastic cinnamon tasting roll. It's just wonderful. Serve it warm. Serve it, I would say serve it warm to very warm. Don't serve it hot. Your frosting is going to get all over the place. It's going to be too liquefied and it's not going to set in right. Serve it warm to very warm. It's actually good cold too, believe it or not. It's very good cold. It's a great complement to a wonderful cup of coffee or tea, or even orange juice. Now people might say, oh, the orange juice is going to be, you know, acidity and sour compared to this. Not at all, because again, like I said, this isn't a really super sweet type of a dessert or a breakfast. So you could use this as a dessert probably too. But that's it. That is our easy sweet roll casserole recipe for you on this episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show. All right, well, that's it. We're done. I first want to thank Christopher Cub with 2 B's for coming on the show today and enlightening us with his daily, weekly antics of life, and also to introduce our ingredients and the recipe as well. And I also want to thank each and every one of you out there for tuning in every week, supporting the show, the great comments you've been giving us. Tell your family, friends, and loved ones about us. Word of mouth is the best way of getting around things, and I want everybody, including yourselves that enjoy this show, to experience the great things we're trying to do for you here. The 3 E's: education, entertainment, and enlightenment. That's it. All right. That's all we have for you. Come back next week for a brand new recipe and some more humor and fun from one of our cast members on the show. This is Chef Ron Locke saying to everyone out there, get off that couch and get cooking.